Yeah, and speaking of Maya losing to Woodley, fucking A, Woodley back at it again with the boring ass fights.
Yeah, it seems that there's been a shift recently that whereas people used to have a lot of patience for winners, like no one really like apart from me. I've always been more like I think a fighter is an entertainer. I don't think a fighter is there to win or lose. I think they're there to entertain. You know that can go too far. Obviously, you have to be. You have to win a shot. But like, we're paying not to see people win or lose, but we're paying to see a good display of fighting, a good display of skill, and good, something entertaining. Having said that, for a while you had like guys like GSP and John Jones and people who were really just out to win, and they would win and win and win, and they were honestly they were boring. I used to find GSP very boring. I used to find John Jones boring, but no one said anything at the time. This was maybe 5-6 years ago, and now Woodley. Honestly, I don't feel bad for him. I wouldn't go that far, but had he been around 5-6 years ago, I think he would have been fine. But I don't think nowadays you can play it so safe. People are aware. They know that whether you're playing to win and not take risks, or you're putting it all out there, and they don't have the patience for boring winners anymore. Because I think Woodley's a winner. I think he's great. He wins all his fights, never loses. He plays a great game plan. He sticks to his strengths, which is wrestling and wouldn't even call it boxing, but just like smashing people in the face. And he does it well, but he's not that entertaining. He doesn't take the risk.
So okay, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. Here's why I agree with you. 5-7 years ago or so, you didn't have entertainment figures in the UFC like you do now. So you kind of had the beginning of it with Chael Sonnen. Now you have, the next evolution of it with Conor McGregor. And now you're seeing more and more fighters trying to take that route. So the expectation of a fighter being an entertainer has become a much more ingrained part of the sport. So in that sense, yes, I do agree with you that people were more patient.
Do you mean in or out of the ring? Or both?
Both. I think when people see the fighter being entertaining during press conferences, they kind of expect that to translate in the ring as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody wants to see a guy talk a lot of shit and be really exciting during the press conference and then be boring in the ring. Like, people expect that to overlap each other.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, I do agree that there was more patience before. Here's where I disagree with you. And I think this is very Woodley specific. And this goes to what we were talking about earlier about people not liking a weak champion. People are turned off by a weak champion. You cannot complain. The UFC is racist and won't promote me because I'm black. But then you don't give the fans anything to look forward to, nor the company anything to promote. What is that?
Yeah, I didn't actually hear him say that. I didn't realize he said that.
Oh yeah, this has been a thing for a little while now of him this is racism. This is the fans are racist or the company is racist. I'm not being promoted because they don't want a black champion. Like all of this kind of shit, which. If you were the guy who's got a fucking knockout highlight reel over your last 4 or 5 fights and you're just that dude.
Nobody cares what color you are, yeah. Nobody cares.
And then they're not promoting you? Maybe you could say that. But how is this commercial going to look? Coming up, UFC 218. Come watch a buff guy back himself up for 23 out of 25 minutes. Maybe throw 4 punches and then go to decision. Like, no one's going to watch that shit.
Yeah. I think he should get his head more into honing his craft. He's just not that good a martial artist. He's a great competitor, athlete, he's a great wrestler. He can hit super hard. You know, he's probably got the best bench press and deadlifts in the UFC. But he's very two-dimensional, and it's pretty. Yeah, it's not that interesting to watch. But in his defense, I mean, he did. How long ago was Lawler and, you know, that first fight against Thompson, not the second one, but the first one against Thompson, I found both of those fights extremely entertaining. So it wasn't that long ago that he had some good fights.
I don't know, man. The Woodley Thompson 2 was boring to me. It had a few moments.
No, the second one was boring. Yeah.
The second one was boring. The first one was okay. There was some times where I was like, oh shit, okay, like things are going down. He took Thompson down. He was able to get some vicious ground and pound. There were a couple moments where he stunned Thompson, and then you got to see him like go into beast mode. But there's just so much filler of him waiting for that moment to get a big shot and stun somebody that you end up spending like 22 minutes out of a 25-minute fight of him just waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, it's interesting. He plays a counter-fighter game, but he's not a counter-fighter. He's in a strange position. He just hits really fucking hard, and then but he doesn't open people up and get them to. Yeah, he doesn't get them to open up so he can counter.
Yes.
He's a clever counter fighter, but he kind of wishes he was a clever counter fighter. And I think if he worked on his boxing, I think if he really like focused on his boxing and learned, you know, the tricks of the trade, as it were, he could be a good champion. I think he could be great, but he's really gone. He's a bit of a one-trick pony, and we've all seen that trick, and I think he needs to learn a few more. He needs to put some more weapons in his arsenal. He doesn't have that many weapons. He has that overhand right, and you can't take it. He has the overhand right, that's it.
He has the overhand right, and his wrestling, if he decides to use it, which he generally doesn't, and you made the point being the one-trick pony.
Other people take them.
Exactly. And I think that's where him and GSP differ. For all of the wrestle fucking that GSP does, and all of the playing it safe and going to the decision, GSP throws a lot of shit out there. You'll catch a spinning side kick. You'll catch GSP aggressively looking for the takedown. You'll catch some jabs. You'll catch a Superman punch. You'll catch a this and a that. And even though he's not a finisher in that sense, he plays to not lose and to win, he will at least keep you guessing as to what you're going to see next. Woodley, you know exactly what the fuck you're going to see. Stand against the cage, circle out, wait for an opportunity to throw a big bomb, stuff a takedown, wait for an opportunity, maybe turn the guy against the fence and look for a takedown, circle away, look for the overhand, circle away. Like, you know what you're going to look for.
Yeah, that's true. But I still like seeing the huge fucking bombs that he throws sometimes. The one he threw against Koscheck back in the day, just the force he generates and how hard he hits people. I don't know, I still have an ounce of respect for him, even though he's pretty boring. You know?
Oh yeah, like, don't get me wrong. As a fighter, as an athlete, or not, let me rephrase that. As an athlete and what he possesses in his potential, what he could potentially do, you got to respect it and you have to be in awe of it. But he's like, you know, a guy who has $1 million and is just fucking eating top ramen every day. It's like, why?
Yeah. I think it really, again, fighters really, especially now, really have to embrace the fact that they are in the sport to entertain. They're really in the sport to entertain, and you have to hone your craft. You can't make one. You're an artist, right? You're a mixed martial artist. That's literally what you are. And if you're an artist, you can't just make one painting that's amazing and rest on that for the rest of eternity, and then expect people to say you're great. And then if people don't say you're great, say, oh, well, I get it because I'm black or I'm white or I'm whatever, you know. Then pull out some other political thing. You really have to continuously hone your craft. You have to continuously add new styles. You know, that's what being great is all about. It's that kind of constant evolution, new element to the game. You know, that you don't really that volatility as a fighter, that unpredictability as a fighter. That's what we want to see. You know, we want to see something that we want to be shocked and surprised. You know, it's across the board. That's art. That's, you know, anything. Being entertained and having respect and love for people, you have to be willing to kind of shock and surprise people.
Yeah, man. I think you're dead on with that.
It's also, just to add another point, you do see it with champions a lot, though.
Mm-hmm.
Once someone becomes a champion, there's the dynamic of chasing, the thrill of the chase, and the energy and the passion that people have to get to the top of the mountain fades, and then retaining your position as, you know, king of the castle becomes your priority, and you lose that specialness, and you lose a special something. And that's why I think you see these super fights happening. You see Conor chasing these absolutely crazy things, because it keeps him motivated. It keeps him, and John Jones, you know, teaching Brock Lesnar, it keeps things fresh for them. And,
right.
And as a mixed martial artist, as an artist, they can bring something completely new to the table. You know, Conor can work his hand, he can leave his, you know, the rest of the, you know, MMA game alone and just work on his hands and bring something new to the table. And John Jones can do the same thing with Brock Lesnar. So it's